Good morning. Today is Wednesday, September 16th. It is our first full remote day. In today's lesson 1, we're going to be talking about our expectations, my expectations for this class, what you really need to be working on at home, in addition to the lessons, the paper lessons that I push out that you'll be returning. There's a lot of independence, a lot of work that you'll get to choose. So I'm going to be posting the classroom expectations on the next slide, and what we'll do, I'll just go through the highlights and things that I really think you need to know and things that you really need to write down in your planner to help you get through this remote period and do a really, really good job. So let's get going. Okay, so here are the revised COVID-19 precautions and procedures, the class expectations that I've always had, in addition to what remote learners should expect. So obviously when you're home, you should always have a full load of class supplies, pens, pencils, notebooks, iPad, charger. Make sure your iPad is always charged, because once we really get deep into academics, that iPad is your working source. The other thing that's really critical for me as your ELA teacher is that you always have a free choice book to read. One of the things that we do in ELA is read and read and read some more. So always be looking for a book you want to read. If you run out of books and you have some ideas of what you'd like to read, you can always email me and I can put together a bag of books. I'll put them in a Ziploc bag and then drop them off in the office so that if somebody from home can come pick them up, and then you can return them to me when you're done. The school library also has an extensive collection, so finding you a good book to read is really something that we can do to help you out. So always have that independent book that you want to read. So since you guys are the remote learners, let's focus on number 4, remote learners. You need to be logged into Google Classroom every Wednesday at 8:30 for ELA support. You will be getting an invitation from me for a Google Meet, which is like Hangout or Zoom. You are required to check in every Wednesday. That's part of your attendance. Getting your work done and submitted to me weekly is also part of your attendance. So really make sure that you are here for our weekly Google Meet for ELA at 8:30. Every academic content area has a time slot, so you will be busy on Wednesdays. So in these Google Meet sessions, we will discuss the week's lessons. I'll answer any questions that you have. It's from 8:30 to 9:30. You don't have to stay the whole time if I've answered your questions. If you want to come in on Wednesdays for extra help, I am available from 9:30 to 10:30. You guys will be working in the library, so if you really feel like you need face-to-face help, then you go to the library, and you don't have to stay the whole day, but breakfast and lunch is served. So in addition to my office hours, which I said again are 8:30 to 9:30, and then my live hours, which are 9:30 to 10:30, you and I are going to be doing most of our stuff remotely, either through email, Google Meets. You can send messages on Google Classroom. So the other big requirement I want to talk about, if you go to the number 8 on the expectations, is, again, we're going to go back to the reading. So this is a mandatory requirement, and basically in order to pass 7th or 8th grade ELA, you must read 2 books a month. The choice of the book is up to you. The only requirement I have is that the book has to be at least 100 pages. A 400-page book does not equal 4 books. If you are a solid reader and you can read a 400-page book in less than a month, that's a book. So the only time I'll make exceptions is if you and I have a private conference. Maybe you really want to read a longer book, but you know that you're a slow reader. We can work out a personal and private agreement, but you'll be keeping a running tally of the books you've read through a reading contract, which you all will get as soon as the in-person students receive their iPads. One of the only homework assignments that you have for ELA is you must read for 30 minutes at home. That's mandatory for both grades 7 and 8. We don't do book reports, but we will be doing book talks, which you guys will do them digitally. We'll be doing book trailers using iMovie trailers. We'll be doing a wide variety of different types of ways to talk about the books that we've read. In addition to independent reading, I am asking that my remote students write every day. So pick out a notebook that you want for a journal, and I'd like you to free write, write about anything, write what you're doing, write about what you've done, write about your interests, write, a funny story, write poetry, whatever it is that you want to write. In my class, we have a set time for silent reading. My students will be able to use some of that time as long as they're keeping up with their reading. So as far as mandatory assignments, it's read and it's also write. For you guys, for remote students, you will be accessing all of your assignments through Google Classroom. There'll be a video lesson, there'll be resources, there'll be an assignment. So, and I'm going to be labeling every section. Like today is lesson 1. You'll be getting a lesson 2. So you really need to go through your lessons, and unfortunately with the Google Classroom setup, you're going to have to work from the bottom of the session and work your way up. So you're going to do lesson 1, then lesson 2, etc. If at any time you have additional questions, please feel free to email me. And my email address, and I'll just jot it down over here, is rrich@sad4.org. So if you or someone at home has a question that you don't want to wait until our Wednesday Google Meet, then please feel free to email me at any time. I also have a school website, which I will, the link is here, and you should be able to access that. So if you look at number 13, that's my class website that has a lot of resources, and I'll be trying to keep that up to date as far as what we're going to be working on each week. So for now, read a lot, read often, and I'll see most of you guys in about 45 minutes.